X functions. How do they work? Why do we use them? Why are they all over the place when you're looking for guides on YouTube, Google, ChatGPT, Copilot? Well, how do they work? What's the point of them? And how do we kind of figure out how to implement them going forward and troubleshoot any issues we may have with them? X functions are awesome. I use them all the time. When I do virtual mentoring sessions, people jump in to my calls where they say, hey, I need help. I need this calculation. I've been working on it for hours. How do I solve this? How do I show this thing dynamically? Well, and a lot of times the answer is simple. We will make an X function and then call it a day, get your issue solved in just a couple minutes, and you could go home happy and show your boss that you did some amazing things. That's the kind of the idea here with stuff like this. And this is just one of those examples that I use all the time when I'm helping customers out. An X function, effectively what it does, it creates a virtual table that you run a calculation on. That's the easiest way to put it. All right, so this virtual table has an iterative calculation that happens on every record in the table. Well, what does that even mean? Let me show you. On screen right now, I actually have an example data set that I use like all the time for doing quick, simple DAX videos, examples, so on and so forth. I'm pretty familiar with it, so I use it all the time. Basically, I just set a couple of filters on here to really narrow down, because there's a lot of records in this table. So I just put one model and then one week number just to really narrow down this data to be quite small, okay? Effectively, what I have is I have this order quantity column, which is how many items someone has purchased per transaction. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3, etc. And then I have the total sales I got from that specific product. And then I have the average of this total sales. So this average of the total sales, it's kind of a cheap implicit measure that I use here just to kind of show as a quick example. So this average of total sales is literally just the sales amount column I dropped into this table, and then I click the drop down to make this implicit measure an average. Now, typically speaking, you want to use a measure for stuff like this, but this isn't technically correct, because what this does is it tells me the average sales of each transaction, because a transaction has multiple items within it. I don't have a separate line item for each individual unit that was sold at a time. All I have is one singular transaction. So this is the average of each transaction that happened for this specific product, okay, over these 2 years. That's what happened here. Now, hypothetically speaking, if I did my total sales divided by order quantity, I would get that average, right? Because that's how it works, right? So you get a total number of items divided by how many items there are, and then you get your average, right? So hypothetically, I could do an easy measure for that. But this is an example I really like to use because it's a nice, simple, easy use case on how X functions work. And I'll show you some other use cases as well to make things nice and dynamic utilizing X functions. First thing first, I will show you what the real answer is. And then we'll go from there and let's look under the hood. I'm making a new measure and I'm going to call this the average sale per unit. Maybe average sale amount per unit. Why not? All right, so if I use the AVERAGEX function, this says calculates the average of a set of expressions evaluated over a table, okay? So I'll quickly first show you what the code looks like. So I can just do something as simple as I did my table is internet sales, and my expression is the sales amount column in my internet sales table divided by, remember we always use the divide function because it handles divide by 0 cases, which is always better, divided by the order quantity column. I'll use that measure and I'll add it to my visual. Let's make this fit. So we can see here that this average price per unit has gone down quite a bit because this is the average of the entire transaction. And this one on the right, average sale amount per unit, is the average price per unit sold, because sometimes it's 1, 2, 3, etc. So that price goes down quite a bit per unit as an average. So under the hood, how does this work? This section here, that's called average in the AVERAGEX section, you can ignore the word average, okay? The X function does most of the lead work, and then average does something at the very, very end, all right? So what happens is you get your internet sales table generated, and in the internet sales table generated, it actually adds a new column in this virtual table. This new column is the row by row level here. So this is row context, takes the sale amount and divides it by order quantity. And it makes that column in this virtual table. Now, once it has that, then it does whatever is on the outside of the X function. Then it'll do the average. Then it'll do the count. Then it will do the sum. Then it will do the minimum, maximum, etc. Right? So I could see here, and this happened. This already happened. This sales amount divided by order quantity. This automatically happens no matter what. And I could change this value in front of the X. If I wanted to sum those values up, I could do that instead. Then I could change it again. I could go, instead of sum, I want to show the MINX. I want to show the minimum value for all of these, right? So MINX, I want to show the minimum value for each one of these. And the lowest value in 2007 was $727. And the lowest value in 2008 was $814. And I could say, over this entire virtual table, what is the maximum value? The maximum someone spent for one specific item was this $2,443 in these relative years here, okay? So that is the idea. That is the idea behind it. So you could do whatever you want, all these different X functions. There's tons of them. Too many to go over at this very moment. So that's the idea of what happens. Now let's virtualize it. Let's actually make it so you guys can see what I'm talking about so I don't just sound like a lunatic. I can go to, and remember, I have these filters on row 250 model name and week numbers too, right? Just remember I have those there, okay? So now I can actually go over here to the DAX Query View. The DAX Query View is awesome. I use it all the time when I'm using virtual tables. It's basically the main purpose of it. As far as I can tell, you could also do some other cool stuff like look up measures and define how tables look and what are the structures and stuff like that. But I use DAX Query View all the time to manage my virtual tables. And an X function is one of those things that uses virtual tables. So we could replicate what we did in the X function right here to validate our numbers. So if I go back to my code of this this measure here that exists, I have to go back to my report view, click it, and I'm just going to copy this whole thing for now. We're going to really butcher it here in the DAX Query View. I'm going to paste it and then nothing works. All right. So first things first, I am going to evaluate. That's how you have to start off here. And then this AVERAGEX isn't actually going to give us anything valuable in this specific use case here. So I am going to also change this AVERAGEX into something else because our virtual table is internet sales with this column added on top of it, right? That's exactly what happens. So if I use something like the SUMMARIZE function, all right, summarize over internet sales. So I'm doing effectively, I'm just making a virtual table. This is one filter you could use to create a table. I'm using SUMMARIZE to accomplish it. It's going to return my entire internet sales table. And I just want to add one column to it. So the SUMMARIZE function makes it nice and easy to do that. I could basically, I'm just going to call this my ORDQTY. So we know it's a little different than the name of the one that already exists. And then in that ORDQTY, it's going to do these values right here. But you see, they're actually grayed out. Whenever you're doing stuff like this, you have to do aggregation. So if I just do sum of sales amount divided by sum of order quantity, it's still going to do it at the row by row level here. If I hit run, oh, look, it's only showing the order quantity. Well, I need to show every transaction, okay? So basically, I need to show every transaction that's on here, and which means I also just need to include my, let's do the internet sales, and I'll actually do we're going to do the sales order number, all right? Sales order number on this, we're also going to bring in. I'm going to add a comma, and now we got everything lined up here. So every sales order, right, we have all of those. This is our, I actually put order quantity here. That's actually not correct at all. This is not the order quantity we're calculating. This is the average sale per unit amount. So I'm going to call it average sale per unit amount. And just to verify some things, I'm also going to add in here the order quantity, and let's also add in the sales amount so we can see the difference. There, that looks much better. I don't know what I was thinking to begin with. All right. So now I can hit run and see that like 499 divided by 1 is 499. 499 divided by 3 is 166, right? And I could keep going down this line here. And this is many records. As you can see, 60,000 records got populated here. So how do I even validate this based off what I was initially doing, all right? How do I see what was going on? Well, what I could do is I could actually apply a filter to this. So one of my favorite things to do in something like this is just use this calculate table function. All right, and here's my table. So I could use, this is my table, and I could say, remember my, my calendar years are 2007, 2008, so I don't need to do that. But I could go back to my report view and see what I used. Remember, model name row 250, week number 2. Let's do those. Model name row 250, week number 2. The model name equals row 250, week number equals 2. And we run it. And now we have 29 records. All right, we have 29 records here. That should look pretty familiar. If I look, we should see, well, it's 29 records, but the grand total number of units sold is 60, on average of like 2 roughly per sold here. So that's correct. So if I go back to my query view, you can see that there's a bunch of 1s, 2s, and 3s on here. we can see that it's my sales amount divided by the order quantity to get this average. So this works great, exactly how I would show it up, right? So now, like I said, I could have done another division, but I feel like this was a good example just to kind of show you guys what exactly was kind of going on here, okay? So what if I wanted to use a different type of X function, so something that wasn't sum, min, max, or whatever? One of my favorite functionalities that I actually use X functions for is for testing to see exactly what's going on. What are the results that I'm getting? Now, this is useful for filter information as well as just troubleshooting. My colleague Mitchell has also done a fantastic video on this in the past, utilizing CONCATENATEX, but I feel like it's a good time to show you again. So for instance, if I wanted to see all of any given product, which colors are currently being used in the current filter context, I could use CONCATENATEX to accomplish that. So as an example, if I wanted to see all the different colors used for a given product, okay, I could add in maybe, let's say, another page on this report. I'm just going to add another page here. And I am going to just kind of change some stuff up a little bit. All right, I'm going to remove these filters that are on this visual. I am just going to show a lot more sales order line numbers just to kind of split it up a bit to get some granular level details, or maybe just sales order numbers instead. Throw those in here. Maybe I'll make this a matrix now, and sales order number will be part of this matrix, and I could drill into it and look at all these individual items. A lot of times we use this as called as a drill through page. So if this is my drill through page and I want to, click on a year and get some more information on this page, I could absolutely do that in my drill through filter. So I could go in here, add in calendar years of drill through filter. If you want to learn more about drill throughs, make sure you check out other videos and stuff like that. We have plenty of videos on it. So now I have this drill through page. If I click on calendar year, I could drill through to it, right? So this is step 2. I'm going to clear the filters from this visual right now. And if I right click on any given year, drill through page 2, and I can see everything that I clicked on, which is specifically for the year 2006. It's how drill through works, right? I can check my filter pane and see I'm only looking at 2006 because it's how drill through works. One of the cool things about drill through is you can also apply filters from other places. So as an example, if I throw in a slicer and I added in something like product color, something that I like to do here, and if I wanted to choose between different colors, I would just want to look at my blue items, right? So I could right click a given year that sold a product that was blue, and I could go to drill through, go to my drill through page. And now if I could look here, I'm only looking at the year that I clicked on and the color blue, right? Because that's a filter that was applied. But what if I want to show that? Because that's not readily apparent because I'm not showing colors in my table. I want to see, hey, what exact colors are currently on display. So a lot of times what I'll do is maybe I'll put it in like a title or a card visual that's on the top of the screen or something like that. So let me just actually add a quick card visual here. And I want to show colors that are being filtered on in here, okay? Well, it's not a really easy way to do that. If I add in color, it just shows first color, last color, count of colors, etc., right? So what I could do is actually make a measure that shows me all of them by using an X function, right? So if I go to new measure, I could show colors filter. This is what I'll call it just as an example. And I can use the CONCATENATEX function, all right? So now all I have to do is show the product table, and all I want to return is the color, okay? So this is my colors filtered. It's basically just going to combine all of them together here. And as a quick example, I'm going to replace this card visual. Now it's saying blah, 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 blah. All right, the reason why it's showing that is because it's showing this concatenated for every single record that's in the table, and there's a lot of blue items, okay? But if I only wanted to show like a distinct from that, what I could do is I could do values over the product table or summarize columns. I could do all these different things. Still doesn't work here. Basically, I have to do the values of the color column. That's right. I forgot about that for a second there. Values of the color column, and now I just show one singular item, right? So I could go back to my main page by clicking my back button up here. If it lets me, there we go. And I could choose multiple colors now, blue, gray, red, right? I have blue, gray, and red chosen. I click on a year, go to drill through, go to my drill through page. And now, oh, wait, it's only showing red. Why is that? Values, why is it only showing red? My color is filtered. Values, product color, show color. Give me 1 second. It's actually weird. Product color. Oh, because this specific year I clicked on only has reds. That's why I did that. So let's go to 2007. How about that? Drill through, page 2, red and blue. All right. If I go to drill through 2006, page 2, all right, just red. 2008, drill through, red and blue. Looks like there's no gray items sold, guys. Sorry about that. So maybe gray is not the best option. So let's go black, blue, and red as options here, right? And I could right click, drill through, and actually see those values for any of those items, right? So let's make this CONCATENATEX function a little bit better. I could separate it out. I could actually add a separator at the end of this one, unlike the other X functions. I could write a comma and add a delimiter, right? So I could just do like a delimiter, maybe a dash or a pipe delimiter, something like this, and hit enter. Now red and black, right? So it's showing this list of items that are currently being filtered by color. And I can even go to another level, because what happens if I have a lot of different items to choose from and I choose none of my items in my slicer and I go to filter on a year like 2007. All right, go to drill this, and now it's showing all the colors that sold in 2007. That's great. But maybe your list is way too big to show something like that. Well, effectively, I could use this X function in tandem with another piece of DAX that makes it better. Like as if nothing is chosen in the slicer, or if everything's chosen in the slicer, just show all colors. And if specific items are shown, then just show this. So I could just expand it a little bit further with a little bit of DAX. All right, so with a little bit of editing magic, we went ahead and fast forwarded quite a bit here and got us to, this is the type of measure I would use to accomplish this goal, okay? So basically, I had this first line that says color count. It just says how many colors are there, okay? How many colors are currently in the filter context. Then I have all color count variable that says how many colors are there in grand total. How many total colors are there, all right? And that would just say, all right, there's this many total number of those items. Then, of course, my third variable is concatenating the colors together with a separator, all right? Just like I showed you to begin with, red, blue, gray, etc., all that stuff. Now, in the return section, basically, after I'm done making my variables, I say, if the color count, which is how many colors are in the current filter context, are equal to the color count of all the total number of color counts, then just put all colors. Otherwise, put concat color, which is the third variable that concatenates them together. So as we can see here, all colors is selected is because we went in here, drilled through to this page without selecting anything. So if I unselect all my options and drill through on 2006 and go to page 2, it says all colors, right? So now I could choose any number of items like red, silver, white, yellow, right click on 2006, drill through to page 2, say red, silver, yellow. It's not showing white because there are no white ones on 2006, just why it shows it like that. But in context, it's showing us the total number of items that exist here for this, which is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome that it does it like this, right? And then of course, I can uncheck everything, go to 2006 again, page 2, all colors, right? So I do this with titles, with cards, with drill throughs. Very useful way to use an X function, right? And again, I could go in here to my DAX Query View and I could do something like this. Well, what does CONCATENATEX do, right? I could go back in here and show you another example by just writing evaluate. It's how I use the DAX Query View. And I could say, not CONCATENATEX. I could just do my table that I showed. I could do values of product color. Boom. Values of product color gives me a distinct list of colors. If I do just product color, it's going to be duplicated like that many times, a lot of times, right? So that's why I don't really want to just make a table that shows every single color that exists, because it's going to say blue, 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 red, 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 however many times it exists. I'm not going to go through that trouble. I just want the values, which gives me a distinct list of items. Again, summarize columns also works. Whatever option you want to use there. But this is the idea behind it, using this type of X function to make this really cool display, right? So you could do math on it. You could do the averages, min, max, sum to get these very specific niche scenarios, maybe weighted allocation or averages or price post discount or how much discount was given or profitability. There's all kinds of different ways you can use X functions mathematically, as well as for utility, like using CONCATENATEX for something like this, where you want like a dynamic label or something like that. I wanted to show you this because it comes up all the time, and maybe I could save you some time showing you how to do it. And if you ever need anything, make sure you contact us and we'd be happy to help, whether it's with DAX or Power BI or Copilot or SharePoint or Power Automate or Power Ops, whatever it is, guys. We offer so many amazing services to help you out. But anyways, enough about that. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.